Hey guys, feels like here. I was just laughing at that thumbnail. It actually kind of made me giggle a little bit. Yeah, I need to shave again, but anyway, feels like here. And I want to talk a little bit about Superbad, the movie, because I was actually just thinking about the movie today. Also, I got off work a couple hours early, so I thought, why not? So here we go. Well, the thing is, this movie came out in the year 2007. And I remember when I was 18 when I saw it. There's some shit going on at the time, and so I didn't really see it until I was 18 years old. But I mean, it was still a pretty popular movie by that time, anyway. And all my friends would not shut up about that movie and the McLovin joke in that movie and everything. But as far as like a rating out of 1 through 10 that I would give, and I know that some people are probably going to hate me for saying this, but I would give the movie like a 5 out of 10. To be frank with you, all right, I just had to move something out of the way there. And there's only one reason why I even give it a 5 out of 10, and one of the other reasons why I give it a 5 out of 10 is because the comedy in this movie hasn't really aged that well. Now, I could watch something like the Naked Gun movie like a million times, and I would still laugh at that movie as I did when I was younger. I mean, it's just a fucking hilarious movie. But, it is without fault that, it is very hard to make a comedy with non-aging, comedy that is still funny 30 years later. And not even 15 years later, this movie and this comedy is really starting to show its age in a lot of areas. Now, from what I've seen, they did actually put a lot of work into this movie and everything, and I actually do appreciate the effort that they did put into the movie and again the comedy. But again, I think the movie is starting to age a bit and is starting to become a bit of a product of its time. Even though I'm pretty sure that there's still plenty of people that like the movie, I still think that it would be an enjoyable movie to watch. But I don't think the comedy of it has really aged that well again. And even back when I was 18 years old, when I first watched this movie, not too long after it came out, I I seriously didn't even think it was as funny as my friends thought it was during high school. And I remember that McLovin joke that they came up with during the movie. It's like, oh hey, I got this card. This is my ID, and it said McLovin on it. And I was just kind of like, I mean, that's kind of a cute joke. It's a cute joke, but I just didn't really think it was that funny. I thought it was cute, but it just wasn't that funny to me, even at the time. That and like some of the other jokes, I don't know. I mean, I've seen a lot of comedies, and so it's maybe a little bit harder for me to kind of make me laugh at comedy. Sometimes I'm a bit pickier than some people are from seeing so many comedies. But I've seen a lot of things in that movie that were very similar to other comedies that I have seen already. A lot of jokes, although they did, of course, give. I did take notice that they did put a lot of effort into trying to come up with new jokes for the movie on its own. So it wasn't necessarily all bad, but I just didn't really think it was as funny as my friends did. It was sometimes kind of funny to me at best. But that's just my opinion. You guys can think that it's like one of the funniest movies that you've ever seen. I'm not saying you have to take my opinion and make it your own. That's just what I thought of the movie as far as this comedy. And of course, when it came to the parts of the kids trying to get into a party and everything, I think of this as kind of more of a American Pie movie in a sense, where these kids are trying to lose their virginity, before high school ends and all that. and they of course also they want to party, just like in American Pie. It's kind of like one of those movies. And as you go along through it, I think the only part that I did think was kind of funny was, when there that one kid with the glasses met up with the irresponsible, police officers that ran through lights and would use, and as an excuse to run through lights, they would use their alarms because the rule is if their alarms are on, they actually have a right to run through the lights and have people stop for them. So I would say that one was a little bit funny. When they would run through the lights like they were, that was a little bit funny, to be frank. But other than that, I don't know. And I also thought it was funny how, these kids, just like, in American Pie, they were just relentless about trying to get into a party and getting laid and losing their virginity. Like, it was the most important thing in the world. But of course, and this is the part of the movie that I like the most, and this is the reason why I gave it a 5 out of 10 at least, even to this day, is because, as you're going through this movie, you're seeing these kids go through so much trouble and so much stress and so much effort to go to a party, breaking out of those parents' houses and everything, and, trying to get laid, trying to get to a party and get drunk, all that. And along the way, every time they even went to a party, they ended up not having any fun because of stupid drunken people, or some of the women were, I guess, as some people would say, crazy as they were going to these parties, or they would have these really shitty experiences with the women during the parties that they're, of course, trying to get laid with sometimes. And even when, there's this one girl that one of the protagonists had a crush on and was trying to sleep with, well, lo and behold, near the end of the movie, she's drunk, and who does she want to sleep with? Well, the one that she has a crush on, obviously. And then, of course, as he's about to have sex with her, he realizes that what he is doing isn't right, that this is actually rape, in a sense. Getting a girl drunk like that. But one weird thing about the parties, though, is that, well, I'll tell you the reason why I liked it at first, though. Since I won't skip over that. And the reason why I like this part and what they're trying to convey to the audience is that partying and trying to get laid is overrated. That is, I would say, the moral compass there that they're trying to convey to the audience. I don't know how many of my friends actually managed to, make sense out of what they're trying to tell younger kids and people, before they get out of high school, that, sex, trying to get laid, and trying to get into parties is kind of overrated. And sometimes you don't even have any fun. And that's what that movie was trying to show, is that trying to get laid all the time and trying to party all the time is just a bit overrated. And that is the part of the movie that I like the most, is that they're trying to show kids that. Although, again, I don't think my friends really noticed that they're trying to show, you that or teach you that at the time. I just think sometimes in cases like this, for kids, it's just more fun to think of sex and partying as the most fun things ever. I think to them, they just sometimes can't see it at first. But I think most people tend to grow up to a point where we do eventually realize that it is overrated. And on kind of a side note, there is just some inconsistencies on what parties are like, though, in that movie. Like, I thought it was so weird how afterwards, when of course, he chose not to not have sex with the drunk girl, and that was fine. He kind of made, I would say, the right choice there not to do that. But what I thought was so weird about that was that she remembered the events. And why do I think that's weird? Is because if a woman is that drunk to a point where she's going to sleep with you, two things are most likely going to happen. One, she's going to pass out on you while you're trying to sleep with her while she's drunk. And two, she's not going to remember a damn thing, is what's going to happen. If somebody is seriously that drunk, that's most likely what's going to happen. In many cases, of course. I've never seen a case where, in my entire life, where a woman wasn't completely drunk to be like that. Like, completely drunk out of her frickin' mind. And the same with men. And another thing, like I've stated before in some of my previous videos, where are all the druggies at the parties? Where are all the druggies, all the people doing marijuana? Where's all the fucking marijuana and cigarette smoke at? I mean, I'm kind of nitpicking here, but every time I watch a movie where people are partying, I mean, like a legit party, that is, like in a movie like Superbad, I'm always finding these inconsistencies with all these parties and what partying is like. Because, I don't know, it's just funny to just see all these inconsistencies. Not that that really makes the movie worse, but it's something that I always take note of. But, of course, with that being said, I don't really have much else to say at the moment, and so I'll just stop right there. It's been, it's been like 13 years since I've seen that movie. Wow. And I still remember all this shit about it. But that being said, I'll just end this video here. And of course, if you guys want to talk about it, you can just, post your comments downward. And I hope you don't hate me for giving it a 5 out of 10. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.